Asking Radio is here. Tell everyone you know. The wait is over. 98.5 Speed FM.
Catch us if you can.
You guide me, just stay beside me. Oh, nobody wants to go it alone, and I just wanna stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. You are my favorite song.
A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makwidi, and I am King James YiYE. And as you must have heard on our news, this week is still being marked as Media and Information Literacy Week. And some of the key things to look out for, it's about bringing timely, accurate information, from the media. The question is, do people who listen to content from the media really trust the media? So we'll be looking at trust for the media this morning on Extra Speed, and we'll tell you when to call us when you are ready for you to call. It will be 08084275464. That's 08084275464 when it's time for you to call and contribute. I am King James YiYE. I'm not alone this morning. I'm with
Mmemshima King
and Tahav Agerzua.
Right, so as always and as usual, Alama Shagodibi team is out to ask people their level of trust for the media. We listen and then we go on. It's Extra Speed. Stay tuned.
This is
Asking Radio 98.5 FM. Trusting the media depends on the information gotten anyway, but not really all the information from the media actually correct. So depends on what the information is about and how, probably you've heard about the information or whatever for you. That's when you can be able to ascertain the kind of information. But I think to an extent, the media generally try as much as possible to give, if I'm to go by the percentage line, I would say media can give you 60% of information you need.
Wow. So trust level is just about 60%. Right. So let me begin with you. Should I say ladies first or Tahav first?
Ladies first.
Okay, so after suffering to do everything and somebody trusts just 60%, what do you think?
It's really sad, but I also want to look at it depending on the media, the particular one she's talking about. Because I think for radio, it's something that growing up, I depend on radio very well, to get information about my school and any other thing. It's on the radio. So maybe she's talking about nowadays social media where you can get wrong and mixed information. For radio,
I think she's still talking about the mainstream media, actually.
Really?
I think so, because that's why she's saying depending on the type of information coming up. I don't think that's what she thinks. 60%.
It's poor, actually.
Well, Tahav Agerzua, what do you think?
I think that that is an opinion coming from somebody whose trust level has to be questioned as well. Who is she? Maybe a listener. But as Mmemshima said, we have conventional and social media these days, and we, as a media person over the years, it's hard to say the media cannot be trusted in the sense there are very few times that the conventional media makes mistakes that you can say you cannot trust what they say, but I think to a large extent the conventional media can be trusted.
Right. So she's not saying she's not trusting, but she's just saying 60%.
I think maybe someone actually listening and would now edit and tell her. Maybe that's why she doesn't really have that trust for it.
You see, the truth is, you really cannot blame them. They have seen things, they've experienced things, and probably that's why they are saying this.
Okay.
People were trying to call when we were talking, so you can call back now. 08084 275464. That's 08084 275464, and tell us the level of trust you have for the media. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, King James.
Good morning.
Mmemshima, King James,
Good
and
morning.
Tahav Agerzua in the studio. My name is Dennis Harif.
Okay.
I am driving, and I wonder what the world would be without the media. So we are here, we know what is happening in the U.S., what is happening elsewhere. Yeah, the media is a method of human beings. And of course, there are times that people lie. But if you look at it from the ratio of what they tell you the truth and then what is lie, then definitely you will have to say that the media gives you about 90% accurate information. There's no way it can be 100%. Because I was just watching about the American election over time. There's these guys who does fact checking, and between the Republicans and the Democrats, who lies the most. And the guy said that he was an arbiter. So if he says that this is who lies the most, it will be as if he is just being biased. So he decided not to say anything until now that he has come out to write a book. And he said, well, the Republicans lie the most. But as at the time he was in that position of fact checking, he could not actually come out to say this is who was saying who and what. So, but I haven't said that. Social media, a lot of people will tell you, especially for the politicians, they tell you that media is, and you question these guys' credibility as media practitioners. I am not one, but I've at least somebody who's informed. I know that some of these guys, churn out a lot of lies, but that cannot discredit the media entirely as an organization. So, to me, I would say that 90% of the information you get from the media, we rely on it correctly, and then it's mostly correct.
Right.
So,
thank you, Dennis.
So for 10%, definitely you know that there's no profession that you don't have the bad eggs, because we know the envelope journalists who could just turn the lies over, and then it is possible. And this is just something that has been happening. There are fake media practitioners. There are people who don't have conscience, who does the things that are not right, but they are not in the majority. So definitely the media, I would say, is 90% source of information, and then they are usually most correct most of the times.
Right.
Thank you. And
Thank you,
have a
Dennis.
great day
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. So when you talk about editorial guidelines, now things like fairness come into play. So maybe in the case of US between Republicans and Democrats, because of fairness, at the point you're talking about, if you just openly say one party is this, that way, it simply means you are tilting towards another. So you have a lot of things to deal with. In as much as you want to be credible, fairness also comes in as one of the guidelines that you have to face. It's extra speed, and we're looking at trust for the media, and we are not social media, so it's conventional media we're talking about here. Because social media, if you ask me, I don't even trust it 1%.
Okay.
Exactly, because everybody is a TV and radio with their phone, so they say whatever they want. So we're talking about conventional media here. And you can call 08084 275464. That's 08084 427-5464 and tell us the trust you have for the media. We go back to Alama Shagodobi.
All right.
Hear what people are saying.
Okay, I would say I have a reasonable amount of trust. Like, I would say like 80 to 90% of trust with the information I get from the media, because I believe before they release any information to the public, it has to be checked, like over and over again, to be sure that it's a legit source. And if possible, send agents out to go and survey the area or just get information, first-hand information from the people in question. So I have a reasonable amount of trust in the information I get from the media.
Right.
Contributing.
Okay, we have a caller here.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mmemshima King. Good morning, King James YiYE. Good morning, Mr. Tahav Agerzua.
Thank you, sir.
Morning.
Engineer Sunday Akpa calling from North Bank, Makodi.
Engineer Sunday Akpa,
Yeah.
good morning. Yeah.
Seriously, thank you very much. You guys in the media industry are doing great. Without you, the world will be thrown back to the Stone Age. We will not have any information. So you are doing very great job. But my problem is with the print media. They give a very captivating and scintillating headline, and when you read the body of the story, it will be different. That is my challenge. Maybe they are using that as a way to attract people to buy their newspaper.
Exactly.
And I don't think it should be so, because those who don't have time to read the body of the letter, or the news, will go with misinformation, and we are not supposed to misinform people. So they should try as much as possible to balance their headline with the
body.
Story. Thank you very much. That's my take.
You're welcome. So, sensational headlines for print media, that's what he's talking about. So, to have you worked for the print media.
Yes.
So, do you want to explain? I mean, he has given one of the reasons that I know is just to attract buyers, but any other reason you think?
As he said, you have to attract someone to what you're doing for the person to take a closer look. So, sometimes and the print media has to cast a headline that is very attractive. But since we are talking about conventional media, if you look closely at what the conventional newspapers write, you must have something, a semblance of the truth in the headline. It may look exaggerated, but if you look closer, you must have semblance, because as Dennis here and the person on Alama Shagodobi said, there has to be checks, there have to be sieving, it has to pass through several stages of verification. Before it goes out. So I think the main thing is to attract, not really to mislead.
Exactly, because for bloggers, let's just leave them. Let's just look at conventional media, because this one simply just come up with anything. Now, back to the other respondent on the Lama Shagodebi. He is a consumer of media content, but he's saying that he believes that you check your facts, you consult back and forth before you come up with something, which is very true. Ideally, that is how it should be, but if and when that is not happening, it simply means, maybe as Dennis said, the bad eggs, but sometimes you represent the whole media organization. So it's not just about the reporters now, not the editor now, but the whole media house. Once they don't have that trust, because you are not credible, it means something is wrong. So that is where we are. It's Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi. And of course, we're looking at trust for the media. Back on Facebook, Raphael says, good morning, Asking Radio, listening live in Jalingo, Taraba State. Another person here says, good morning, nice watching live in Lagos, Nigeria. That's Akben Khan, Kenneth. And so you can contribute as well and tell us your level of trust for the media, especially when you call 08084275464. That's 08084275464. Let's go back to what the last caller, Engineer Sunday Akpa, has said. Sensational headlines. He is saying newspapers, but even the radio and television, sometimes, yes, first the news headlines. So what they are saying in the headline is actually not in the body of the news.
Exactly.
In their own case, it's not to attract buyers, but I don't know if the editor has no knowledge of news writing, or they're in a hurry, or they're just giving to someone who is not experienced to write. Because usually the headline does not in any way relate to the body of the news. In most cases, I hear that on radio and TV a lot. I don't know why this is happening. But again, maybe you go back to the issue of people who are not qualified to be there.
Exactly.
It's 08084275464. Extra speed. Trust for the media.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Solomon from Ngoma local government.
Okay, Solomon.
Yes, thank you very much. My regards to King in the house.
Thank you, Solomon. Speak up.
Yes. The trust in media. Let me put this question this way. So many issues like this, events that took place in Nigeria, and some tragedy events that recently occurred in this state, claim about 114. Some media says 150. The tanker explosion in Jigawa. So I don't really know. Can the journalists in Nigeria or the media in Nigeria cannot give the public exactly numbers of victims? This is what is happening, and it's worrisome. Every time something happens wrong, they will report wrongly.
Okay.
The report will not be the same.
Okay.
And you, as a foreign journalist, you may know and explain better. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so
It's back to you.
King James, are you a foreign journalist?
well,
You
I
bring
was
foreign news.
when I besides when I was working for the BBC, if I reported from another country, it means I was a foreign journalist at that time. So
Yes.
now I'm not. Anyway, so from what he is saying, there are two sides to this actually. So in a tragic news that casualties are recorded, maybe government officials will give you different. For instance, the police or fire service or road safety, the figures they give you, some eyewitness may give you different figures. But sometimes the real figures in casualty levels don't necessarily count because people may likely die from injuries. So if you're actually expecting accuracy in that kind of figure tanker, you wouldn't get it. So sometimes that is how it works. And again, as I said, government agencies, it is not in the interest of any government to just announce that their people have died so many. So they don't even do that. So in most cases, yes, if you talk to a government representative, what they're giving you is different from maybe Red Cross or any other NGO on location. So it's not the fault of the media piece, except the media is claiming, the journalist is claiming that they counted the bodies themselves and then they're giving wrong figures. That is what I think is wrong there. You want to add anything there?
Yes, yes. You, when you were introducing this program, you talked about timely, accurate information dissemination. Sometimes you are constrained by time. If a tanker explodes and you see people dead, you can't go counting, doing a body count before you announce that this is what has happened. Sometimes, as you said, you rely on sources, the police, the hospital, the spectators, and they may give you different government officials. They will give you different types of figures. But I think, as he referred to some foreign journalists, there is some level of accuracy that some foreign journalists rely on. If you listen to BBC, they will say, this is what the government has said. These are the figures the government has given. But some sources say the figures could be higher. I have heard BBC.
Of course, that's a normal way.
So there is a way that we, the media, can help the audience or the listeners or the consumer about the figures, really.
Yeah, I think Solomon is right. It's just that he brought the issue of that tanker explosion. And I had to. Otherwise, truly, like when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did that reshuffling of cabinet,
Yes.
and it was 5 ministers. So some media houses reported six. Some reported 5. So yes, in such a situation, yes, Solomon is right. It's just that he was specific about the tanker explosion in Jigawa. So for the case of ministers, for instance, no media should be excused for giving the wrong information.
I think because they depend on other source for their information, that's why you find out that they give wrong reports at times. Because you also see some radio house where they depend on newspapers for their online for their information, which obviously is wrong, and they just go on to just broadcast it without even making research. So I want to say there's a little bit of laziness now when it comes to radio. There's a little bit of laziness. Nobody is willing to go extra mile for research or any other thing. So that depending on other media, it's what's causing this issue.
It's called armchair journalism.
yes, it is. If you look at, I looked at that release from the State House. And it was a table. It was tabulated.
Yeah.
So if you just rushed off, you could make a mistake about the figures.
That's true.
Exactly. So that simply means you should actually look at it. Now, I was talking about accuracy and timeliness of a report or content coming from the media, but there's also a thin line between accuracy and being truthful.
Exactly.
So for the fact that you said that the tanker explosion in Jigawa has killed scores of people, more than 1,000, 100, that is the truth. But when it comes to accuracy, the listener or the consumer of your content wants to know the exact number. Where that is where you may not be able to give immediately. We have a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Mmemshima, you are your husband. You pay for my time.
Okay.
You engage me. I refuse to talk to me.
Oh, sorry.
You saw that I'm back online.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the media houses, you are doing great. But my concern sometimes is the absence of balanced reportage, especially when it has to do with government officials. So media houses are more or less on the side of sycophancy. They don't give balanced reports. So how do you address that? I know Agerzua, I think Agerzua is in the position to do this because he has been an advisor and all this and that. When he was there, was he giving balanced reportage all the time, or he had to be sycophantic so that he protect his job? Thank you very much.
Let me respond at once. It is not the duty of the chief press secretary or the media advisor to balance what his principal is doing. No, it is that of the media house. For instance, if they appoint, you want to announce that the governor has appointed commissioners or advisors, how do you balance that? Or that the governor has given his view on this. You cannot go to balance. Yours is to report about the governor. So it is the media houses when they get your release, they can also do some checks on it or do some interviews as a reaction to what the governor has said. There are some news that you don't expect balance immediately. Like if you have a release from the government house, you first state what has happened there, because the people are interested. They elected the governor, their eyes are there, so they want to know what is happening. So, Engineer Akpa, it is not, when I was chief press secretary or media advisor, I didn't have to balance what the governor had to say.
Right. It's Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi, and we are looking at trust for the media. So you can call 08084275464, 08084275464. Engineer Akbar, yourself, if you are not satisfied, you can call back.
Yes.
Yeah, you can call back. Yeah, exactly. Because, simply what Tahav is saying is that most of what comes from government is you just present a statement or a release about what maybe after school a decision is made, and then you present it. So it's not in your own position to go balancing left and right. So when the news comes out, people disagree. People say a lot of things, but you have given the news as it is.
Yes.
If the governor says this, people ask a lot of questions, especially on social media, but that's them. We have a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Morning, everybody. I'm just calling back. My name is Dennis Ihare. As regards the issue of reporting tragedies, no government wants to be happy that a tragedy has occurred, even in the first place. I want people to also look at reportage as regards sensibilities. I remember it was this one journalist announcement back in the days that brought up about the war in Rwanda. So sometimes the media people have to use their training to be able to assuage our own sensibilities before even we get the consumption of the media, the news that they are churning out. So people should also know that those tragedies, they are very sensible, and then people will not just begin to say, okay, 1,000 people die. It's not really a good news. So people, and then like you are saying, the media will also the government will control what happens, definitely. So you don't expect people to go and say, okay, something happened and then 1 million people died. So government would want to, garnish it in such a way that it will be manageable. So that's one aspect that I want people to also understand.
Exactly. Thank you, Dennis. So he's right, as I said, and that's why from government officials or government agencies, what they give you versus what either non-governmental organizations like Red Cross and others on site.
Yes.
You say they are saying this, but this one says maybe higher. So you don't, sometimes you don't even say they say it's high, say maybe, because as I said, if there is a tanker explosion, there is likelihood of people who survived at the scene of the accident. Maybe depending on the degrees of burns they have, they may succumb. So, but you go saying everybody there,
Sometimes more even die in hospital than at the scene.
Yes. So how do you begin to, give accurately? So now, having said that, the thing is two ways. Just as we've said, and Dennis, the last caller, is saying, in some cases, even the departments, the government ministries that are in charge, they want to do propaganda. So sometimes they give higher. For instance, if you look at Israel and Gaza and Lebanon, or Palestine, if you see what's happening there, for instance, there is likelihood that the Gaza ministry will rather give you higher casualty figures.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
because to attract sympathy.
Exactly. So that is likely going to happen. But in a situation where everything is normal, no government would want to scare people that one tragedy happened and people died like that. So that is what people should also know. And one thing he pointed out, which we also did, just to call to people's attention that media is regulated. So you are not just there to cause panic. So the fact that something has happened, you are reporting so that people can take caution. So sometimes the number of the real casualties don't actually matter anyway. The fact is it has happened. It's extra speed, and we go back to Alama Shagodobe to see what people are saying.
I trust the media. I have trust on media, but not fully, because some are fake and some are not genuine. Until you get to see by yourself.
Some are fake and some are not genuine. How do people easily get to know which one is fake and which one is
how would I
genuine?
know? How would I know?
No, but you stated it here before. You said you have you don't even have any amount of percentage of trust for the social media.
No, social media is out of it.
So it is by their fruits now. You know them.
Exactly.
If a media house says something today and the thing does not come to pass, if it predicts something or says something that is not accurate, once, twice, thrice, people lose confidence in that particular media house.
Exactly. 08084275464. That's 08084275464. Now the other issue is we go back to Alama Shagodobe.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear this.
The information I get from the media is 70% reliable. except for few hitches, especially when it has to do with political issues. Over time, the media has not been forward in reporting certain political issues. But I can excuse it because sometimes the powers that be are feared. So when it comes to reporting things that have to do with the government of the day, I have realized over time that the media has not been very, very open and forward. They have been very skeptical with facts. I think this is the only area that I have issues with. Other than this particular area, when it comes to other aspects of the media, reporting information, I think they have been relatively fair, and I can trust them 70%.
Wow. So one key thing she has mentioned is political broadcast.
Yes.
Political broadcast is truly an issue that the NBC gets worried about as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
And Tahav, Agerzua, all the problems that the media has ever had, especially in Nigeria, is only during politics, during pre-election, election and post-election coverage. That is where the media actually has issues, especially, should I say, government media, even the private, they get into trouble with that. And this is what exactly she is saying here. So why is this so?
You know, the nature of government, the nature of power. Power itself is a struggle. So if someone sees that you are putting him or her at disadvantage, the person has to stop that from happening. So it has to do with the third world. Some of it has to do with the third world environment, where the journalist is not protected either by law or by a society. So the government itself, for instance, if you want to quote figures in government, where do you get figures about money spent and things like that? Before you have access to such things, it's very difficult.
So it's better you come and lie?
No. You may not lie, but you may find it difficult to get accurate figures to use.
Yeah, because what she's saying is she's trying to say perhaps government of the day. And during my experience training journalists across the country, especially in government media, we actually discovered they were doing self-censorship.
Yes.
Because there was no place I ever went to that I was told that the government official went to actually stop or told the government-owned media what to say. It was hardly done. I never heard. Nobody actually said they came to us. They were only playing the cards to please the governor. The governor didn't say that. So one of the things that Engineer Akpa asked you, let me ask back, is during your time, were you forcing the government-owned media to say what you wanted them to say?
No. Your question to say what I wanted them to say.
Yes.
What I wanted to say, I will always write it in a release. So I didn't force them to say what the government wanted all the time. What we said, I remember I served a governor who will always say, ask the other side. Ask people from the other side. You know, because the credibility of a report is in doubt when the other side is not reflected. So what we expected during my time is that if you want to if you want to be fair to us, give us our chance and give the opposition their own say too. But as you said correctly, most of the time, you know, the people at the helm in the media would think that if we do this, the governor will be offended. You know, it was self-censorship.
Exactly.
And once a new government comes into office, the government media people assume, and they may be right, they assume that if we reflect the other side, we'll get into trouble, more or less. It's difficult to, during my time, we never ever said that, please don't report, or we never gave an order that don't report the other side.
It's Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. We're looking for, we're doing it on the focus Trust for the Media, and of course, Global Media and Information and Literacy Week still going till tomorrow. Started on the 24th of this month and is done every year since 2021. But generally and every day, we try to look at what guidelines within which we operate here, and we have all of them listed as objectivity, accuracy, timeliness, actuality, which is being factual, trustworthiness, and all of that. Here we have somebody on Facebook. Let's go here first. Good morning, Mmemshima King, the radio queen. Good morning, King James here, the radio wizard. Good morning, Tahav, Agerzua, the radio ambassador. Good morning, viewers across the globe. If you're watching, please do not forget to like, comment, and share. Okay. This is coming from Chief Wedikwatezu Bernard, live from Lakey Phase 1 in Lagos. I like the way he gives us, names already with ease. Exactly. So you can call now 08084275464. That's 08084275464. So one of my trainings in 2008 in Benin City in Edo State, I gave a task, for the government-owned media. We have a call. Let's stay before I go on here.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
All right, that's not connected. Okay, so in Edo, while I was, training them 2008 to 2009, I gave them a task to go out and record some few vox pop. I've forgotten what it was about, but they rushed back panting that they were almost lynched. Something as serious as
I think they said what they were not supposed to. Hello, good morning.
It's not connecting again. I don't know. So I asked the reason. Edo Broadcasting Service is a big media organization with radio and TV, and a lot of people. I had more than 50 people in my class, both the old and the young. And then they ran back that the people wanted to lynch them. It was as serious as that. And I said, what about? So they said that, one, this was the first time they were going out with recorders that I brought from the BBC to interview people. Two, just before Professor Sumbo won the court case and became governor, Adams Oshomole. Adams Oshomole won the case and became governor. That Adams Oshomole was going to ESBS with money to be interviewed, and they were rejecting it.
Yes.
So they were singing praises for the other governor. As soon as this one won the case and became governor, they automatically changed it. Yeah, the tone. The piper changed the tone. So people didn't trust them. So there was no credibility. So they didn't even want to see them. Luckily for them, they were not gathering news the way that I now introduced. So I was causing harm, thinking it was good, sending them out. And it was just in front of the radio station, which is close to Lagos Benin Expressway. So they ran back. But that was the thing. So I now asked them, did the sitting governor at any point ask you to reject anything coming from the so-called opposition? And they said no. I said, so why? So that became a topic that we focused on, and you had a lot of that happening. So in most cases, no government official that I have known goes to the radio station to actually say, don't do this. But in some cases, they do. Recently, I am still trying to investigate the content that was coming out from Urban Radio 94.5 in Enugu State. Just recently, officials of the EFCC got into the studio and arrested a presenter live on air. So NBC came out to apologize on behalf of government because that's another arm of government doing this. And then because this falls under the regulation of the NBC. So they apologized on behalf of, because whatever, NBC believes that whatever happens a presenter should not be arrested in such a manner.
Yeah.
But only God knows what she was saying on radio before she was arrested live there on air. And it has happened even outside this country. So that was when Tahav was talking about third word. I was saying it's not just here.
I think it has to do with funding of public radio stations.
Yeah.
The other day, we were discussing, and you mentioned the way the BBC is funded. It's different from the funding of Radio Benue and all other states' owned media. You know, they are funded in such a way that they can be independent. The BBC can be independent of the government of the day.
Yeah.
Although there are some security issues, some national security issues that they have to be sensitive to the government. But when it comes to their content, the larger percentage of their content, they are independent. So I think we should look at the BBC funding model and try to adopt it for our public media organizations if we want them to function.
Hello. Yeah, hello, good morning. Hello.
Okay, so the calls are not connecting. Yeah, you were talking about the BBC funding, yes.
So we can look at that funding model for the public media houses.
Exactly. So the point is this. For the public, even for the private, it depends on how, if you are doing the way a community radio station is funded is different. It's funded by members of the community. All staff, they are volunteer staff. So that is where we actually try to bring that model here, even though we are licensed to be a commercial radio station, but we're operating like a community radio. So sometimes, yes, if people are actually giving us money, is this something you want me to say on air?
Yes.
Somebody was still out.
No, sir, yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So if the, for instance, the TIF content, let's even go down to the TIF content.
Yes.
If retired people are pledging 5,000 naira a month for us, or even 1,000 or 2,000 a month for us, if you look at the number of retired people that will give us that kind of money, and then other people are donating, because the content is helping in so many ways, like preserving culture, doing all those things. So that is how radio is funded. So if people are bringing that, will be totally independent from any other thing.
Yes.
And the radio will totally be owned by the people.
Yes.
So, but it's something that can happen in the next 30 minutes.
Yes.
It can. If you give your account number now, and should we try?
If you do that, then there must be a forum for you to give us feedback that we gave account number and this is what we got.
Exactly. So if exactly, they should. If I give account number now, and then within 30 minutes, people have put in money, maybe 1,000 naira each person. But if you just imagine that 1 million people will give you 1,000 naira, or 500,000 people will give you, which you can find in Makurdi alone.
Yes.
And they continue like that either every month or quarterly or so. It means that the radio is totally owned by the people. So the BBC is funded on taxpayers' money directly. So you own a radio set like this, you pay tax for it, or TV. That is the money that is directly used to run the BBC. That is why it is purely public, and then is run by the people directly. As you said, it's only when it comes to security issues of government that they may just try it. Otherwise, it's purely about the people. That is how it works. So, well, we're giving ideas out. Let's see how it works. 08084275464. That's 08084275464. People are trying to call. It's not connecting again. I don't know what the issues are with the line. But we'll go back to Alama Shagodubi and listen to this before we go on.
Yeah.
This is
Asking Radio 98.5 FM.
The trust I have in the media, I like Asking Radio so much because I like their program. There are so many programs in Asking Radio that I like it very well, such as tea request program and hearing news. I have so many information. Many of them I can't tell, but many. I just can't tell one by one, but many. So many.
Right. So he is so specific about asking radio. He trusts what we do. He can't even go ahead to begin to mention.
Well, he mentioned the request program.
Exactly. He mentioned that one. We have a caller here.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I like that man when just talk now for radio. Even though I done plenty things one day inside, so it's very good.
Okay.
Anybody was saying no like ASCII radio, that person no be Benue person, no be Nigeria. ASCII radio as individual radio, you can see what it's doing.
Can you identify yourself, sir? Can you identify yourself? Can you identify yourself for the audience, sir?
Yeah. Sorry. My name is Emeka from North Bank overseas. Overseas. You know, say, I did tell my man, say, King James. And if they were in the cross that bridge there, they go this Abuja, into the pay to get to that. I don't know. They pay for passport.
Yes.
So me, ASCII radio is very good. And when you look at it, they say speed FM. You can speed the time and no crash at any way. You see, I also feel like if the ASCII management will try to send account numbers out so that people will participate, because this is no government radio. It's not radio that is being owned by bourgeois. This is a radio that is owned by somebody who feel that they have to bring out this radio so that people will hear. And when you look at the olden days music, you look at it, you remember some certain things. ASCII radio plays those things. When you look at the 24 hours radio work, you hear a lot of things. And when you come about, you say how many people are working in those places. And you see, they are committed. There is commitment into this job. So I am of the opinion that ASCII radio is doing well. And everybody have to support that radio.
Can you start the process?
That's why we don't know your account number now. So how do we start the process?
Okay.
It is when the account number is out, you will see Nigerians reacting. So I believe that when you do the needful, people will start doing something.
Okay. Emeka, let me give you the account. Emeka, let me give you the account.
Yes.
Okay.
Is Zenith Bank.
Yes.
101.
Yes.
274.
Yes.
3112.
Okay.
101.
101.
274.
274.
3112.
3112.
Zenith Bank.
Zenith Bank, Asking Media Limited.
Huh?
Zenith Bank, Asking Media Limited.
Okay.
Yes. So
yes, thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. So that's that. But you know, from what he's saying, I mean, unfortunately, we tried as much as possible to think we will be able to manage this, but time is running faster than us. But one key thing is, from what he's saying, radio ownership.
Yes.
Has been an issue of, obviously, you know, that is about interests.
Yes.
Come on, there's a call there.
Hello, good morning.
Mmemshima just ye mo fato la ma batu gamza yange.
Okay, go
please, even if it is patient, just speak patient English, please.
Huh?
I wanna go, but
okay. The way the Speed FM spoken in Nigeria here in God in Makodi here, we like. Anybody will say Speed FM no go forward. That person cannot go ahead. So we like Speed FM and we like the way the program was Speed FM doing in Makodi here. So anything, if you want, send all your account number. I don't already get them for another person where you call. So we will contribute and do anything we want to do with you.
Thank
so,
you.
Thank you.
Your radio, now our community radio. So your radio no shaking.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
So take our account number again.
It's Zenith Bank.
Yes.
101 274 3112. Maybe you want to repeat it.
Yes. 101 274 3112 Zenith Bank.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, before I take my location, I would like to introduce myself.
Speak out and tell us your name.
Yes, my name is Chong N. Titus, calling from North Bank.
Okay.
Right. So quickly make your contribution. Trust for the media. That's what we're looking at.
I would like to appreciate Acting Radio for the tireless effort to disseminate information.
The line is not very good if you can. So we're talking about, from what Emeka is saying, he's saying that other radio stations are owned by bourgeois.
Yes.
But Asking Radio is owned by a hustler. So yeah, the ownership in the past, people were using it. People still use radio wrongly. Sometimes either to fight a sitting government or to fight perceived enemies and all of that. And it leads to the issue of trust or lack of it, credibility.
Yes.
So which is what Emeka is saying. But do you see an end in sight for that kind of thing? Is it really going to end?
It's difficult because they say he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So if the public wishes a radio station to be independent or to reflect the views of the general public,
they have
to fund it.
Yes, the caller wants you to pay for this call.
Oh.
Okay.
He ran out of money or something.
So sorry.
Okay, our time is almost up, but you can call quickly. So yeah, exactly. So this is what people are saying, and this is one of the issues actually, because other radio stations, I have an idea of radio stations, going to say political opponent did this, whereas they never did, or they said they did this and they never did, and sometimes the other ones don't have a voice to say, so they're saying they too will have a radio station, so that when you say this, they can't pay.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, so network is terribly bad.
Mmemshima, but they say you are a woman, and they say better soup na money maker. Maybe so.
So.
Exactly. 08084275464. Trust for the media, as we try to round off Global Media Information Literacy Week. So call now 08084275464. Now, okay. Try the call again.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. The network is...
Yeah, it's still not good yet. Okay, so one thing, timeliness of information dissemination. One thing I learned at the BBC is it's better to be second and right.
Yes.
Second and right than to be first and wrong.
Yes. That's true.
Exactly. So what happens is, we avoided mentioning social media, but other radio stations, other conventional media stations are also now operating like social media.
Yes.
So the rush to be the first to break the news, and then break it wrongly.
The first and the fake.
Exactly, first and fake. So these are the things.
Yeah.
And then people also need to understand how government also works, because there are processes and there are certain things that are legal in government offices. So when it takes certain decisions, outsiders think a different thing. But because now they think they have Facebook, they come and say something. But sometimes you may not necessarily need to condemn even government-owned media, because what they are saying, not everything, but it's only when it becomes like praise singing that the people don't like. But there are certain things that they have to just bring it out the way the processes are done, if you ask me.
Let me quickly add that the issue of trust sometimes has to do with the platform. It's not the media house itself, but the people who, the content there, the people who come to bring content there lack credibility. So it affects the platform.
Right. So let's try this one. If it connects at a few seconds, they can talk.
Hello, good morning.
Please note that the
Come on. So what's happening with
He really wants to call. I don't
yeah,
know
that's
what's
same
going
line.
on.
Anyway, time is up. So final word.
Well, okay.
Well, Mmemshima, go ahead.
Okay, final word is that let's, as a media house, I think we should give the people what they need. That's authentic news. We shouldn't just be in a hurry to just spread fake information because the people are depending on us.
That's the others, not us.
Okay, yes. Others, yes, not us.
Yes, Tahav.
Let me assure our listeners that we'll continue to do our best to give them the best.
Exactly. So thank you for joining us today on Extra Speed, and we'll do this again. I'm King James. YiYE.
Mmemshima King.
And Tahav Agerzua.